Hello, my name is James and welcome to Mirror Domains. Today I want to talk about Rogue One, a Star Wars story. And I'm going to tell you straight up off the bat, I like this film. Now I'm a Star Wars fan, so I'm slightly biased in my opinions. But I really enjoyed this film in the aspect that it's a well-made film. It's a well-constructed film. A whole lot better than Force Awakens, in my humble opinion. Now, okay, I don't want to harp on some things that people are griping about, like there being no crawl. That's not a big deal to me. People are saying that you should read this book Catalyst before you see the movie. I'm not going to tell you to do that, because I haven't read it. So my experience is simply one who just watched the movie. And I really liked this take of the Star Wars universe just before Episode 4, where, you know, the Empire is just crushing the rebellion, and there's a lot of strife going on. There's jockeying for positions on both sides of the rebellion and in the Empire. When you see Krennic, played by Mendelsohn, talking with Tarkin, you can see them like jockeying for favor, and I like that. That was one of the highlights of the film for me. Of course, being a Star Wars film, the visual effects are brilliant, but there are some flaws in it. There are some flaws, and we're giving it a pass. For the most part, I think all of us are going to give it a pass, and that's the CG work with some of the people like Tarkin. At times it looks good, but then sometimes it takes you out of it because they stay on his face just a bit too long. But overall, like, I will admit that it gets a little bit slow. It's a little slow to start, but once it does, you are in this film, and I like the characters. Now, one of the gripes I've also seen is that they say, well, the characters are shallow. And I heard this about Magnificent Seven too. But you know what? It's a concession. I concede that, okay, some of them are not very well developed, but when you think about it, did the pilot really need to get flushed out more than he was? If we spend this time developing all of the characters, then it becomes a 3-hour movie, and instead of saying that, well, that was a really tightly edited film, you're saying, well, maybe we could cut some of that out. And I don't want to be saying that. So it's a concession. I liked the characters in this. Jyn Erso, Felicity Jones is a highlight for me. I was really pleasantly surprised on how good she was, and she gave a little subtleness to her character. And there's one scene that I will talk more about in the spoiler section. But yeah, she does a really good job. One of my favorite other side characters is Chirrut, I think it's Chirrut. But he's the blind guy, and I liked him because, you know, it gave you the sense of awe again in the Force, because the prequels sort of set out saying that the midichlorians are your connection to the Force, but this guy doesn't have a connection like that type of connection, but he still is inspired by the whole concept of it, and I found that to be very inspiring. Okay, what else did I like about it? Vader. Vader has a couple scenes in this film, and it's not a letdown at all. He really delivers, and yeah, you're going to like him for sure. And it ties in nicely, very nicely, with the beginning of Episode 4. When you're watching the big battle at the end, you're like, okay, well, it was awesome. And I like seeing a lot of the old pilots like Gold One and Red One and those guys. I wanted to see Porkins, though. That would have been fun. Okay. But, yeah, you're watching that and you're getting all hyped up and you're like so enthralled with it. And you're like, oh, and this is going to connect to Episode 4. Yeah, that's awesome. And it was. It totally was. Okay, so those are just my initial thoughts of it, and I will go more into depth with my spoiler review that'll come out in a couple days. I still want to mull over it. I want to mull, because I want to watch it again. I saw it in 3D. I want to see it in 2D. Here's my score sheet for it. It adds up to a 8 out of 10, and I'm still mulling. It may go up to an 8.5. The acting, as I said, Felicity Jones, really good. And actually all the other sub-characters were really well done too. You just have to, accept it for what it is. Directing was good. As I said, there were a few technical things wrong with it, but that's just more of where we are today in our special effects. Story, yeah, I liked it. So 1.5. Cinematography and score. Cinematography is brilliant in this. The score, okay, there was a couple times when I was listening to this where I was like, what was that? What was that? And that didn't happen for me when I listened to the Force Awakens soundtrack, which is a bummer. But yeah, the soundtrack is definitely worth listening to. And the watchability factor is obviously going to be 1.5 because I'm going to tell you to go out and watch it again, which I'm going to do. And it is almost worth a full 2 points because I may want to add this one to my collection. I'm still going to mull over it, and my score may change when I do my spoiler review. All right, that's it. If you've liked what you've seen, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe.